And Jole Gabrielle of Elevated Planet. Thank you so much for joining us for today's YouTube Live. And as you can see, we had a new intro. I think, John, there was a little bit of issue with the volume there. Maybe
There
turn it
was,
on.
yeah. That was the one thing I got out of that as well, is that I need to redo that. I'm going to redo it anyway. It's just an initial draft, but just trying to bring a bit of brevity to it because speaking to, in fact, it was my dad when he was watching it. He was saying, the intro's a little bit long. It's like repeated every time. So, try something, maybe try something different. So there you go, Dad.
Yes.
That's the first. We're going to turn up that volume because it definitely is a little bit too quiet. But I
But
do,
it's very beautiful.
yeah, and I love the fact that we're using Kate and Louisa's music there as well, which is kind of part of the creation within our community, as is the Fay Vale art, which again, I only did that, threw that together pretty quickly today. So there will be improved versions, but nevertheless, it's moving along. So for today, just to say what we are going to do today is a three-pronged kind of thing today, and then the guided meditation. We've got three different avenues that we're going to explore. The first one that we're going to talk about is going to be The Shack, which is a movie and it's a book. And where my history with this began was about 2009. And I was working out of our Portland office, as I recall, and I was going back to the airport in Portland, and I saw this book for sale there, and I thought it looks interesting. And it was The Shack. It had just been brought out, I think, back in 2007. And it was set in that particular area, actually. The Cascade Mountain Range in Oregon was pretty much where the story was based. And, at that time, that was a long time ago, and I hadn't begun this spiritual journey. I wasn't at all religious. I'm still not religious. I am not affiliated with any particular religion at all. Although, I definitely see the value in it for those who kind of gravitate towards that. But for me, I've never been religious. I don't think I ever will be religious. And I struggle with the book because it talked about people whose lives were based on religion and, the belief or lack of belief in certain things. But the story itself was quite amazing. It did intrigue me. It did intrigue me. But at the same time, I couldn't get my head around it. Now, having studied this stuff in close detail now for the last 5.5+ years, I kind of really get it now. I watched it again. I watched it twice in relatively recent times. And honestly, I was blown away by this movie. It really is very, very moving. So I suggested to Jole that she may want to watch it as well. And she did. And she agreed with me. And I was just thinking, the points that it encapsulates there really covers a lot of the stuff that we talk about with Elevated Planet. And some of this stuff is quite bizarre. And I know from a mainstream perspective, it seems like fantastical. But within this movie, I think it hits a lot of truth as I understand it to be. I wouldn't sort of go line for line and say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it's fantastic. It's moving, very, very moving. And we're going to include some of the music on that this week on the weekly as well. But what I would ask, I mean, this is available on Netflix for free, anybody who gets Netflix. And I ask, anybody in the community who hasn't seen it, if you could try and watch it over the next week or so, because we're going to go a little bit more into depth on that next week. So what I am going to do, just bear with me a second. I'm going to just play you the trailer. So I would encourage anybody to have a look at it. What did you think to it, Jole, when you watched it?
Wow. I look at the trailer and I understand that some people may get the eye roll and think, oh my God, the cheese fest is about to unfold. But in all actuality, this movie is extremely powerful in the way that it is done. And it shows how forgiveness is just it's what it really takes at its core of everything. People think it's love. That's true, but there's so many offshoots of it. And one of the main foundations of love is the ability to forgive. And this movie really explains when you think about, as a theta healer, one of the languaging around helping people move out of that energy in the subconscious mind of holding on to things, right? Resentment, rejection, regret, which we hold in the heart chakra. But the subconscious mind is a bugger. And so, in order to really get in there, languaging is important, right? And so, as a theta healer, you use language like What does it look like, feel like, act like, sound like? And you get into the details of love and you get into the details of forgiveness. And that is exactly what the shack will do for you. If you have the question of, well, how do I forgive? Well, how do I let go? Like John said, it may look fantastical, but in the bones of it, there's a big message there. And there's also kind of instructions as to how to do things to forgive. But at the end of it, you get this new found relationship with yourself and an understanding of love. Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and I was reading through the some of the comments that came like at the end of the trailer, you know, and people, this movie has changed people's lives. You just look down this, so beautifully profound, vibrationally accurate. Every word is spot on. Thank you so much. Oh, this is for my awakening, for this path I walk. And it just goes on and on. And it's just like the level that it seems to reach with people. And I know too, because, you know, we spoke about this. It's very moving, right? You need your box of Kleenex alongside you, right? And
that's correct.
It takes you through the whole range of emotions. Mm-hmm. You know, everything. You feel it with the character, the main characters, and you just kind of feel what they're going through. And it's really deep. And even at the end, but it's so uplifting. And all I need to do now is watch or listen to one of those tracks that is embedded within the movie. And in 3 or 4 minutes, like having the most profound meditation, because it just takes you back through these emotions. But it's very cleansing. And, you know, I think it really talks to a lot of what Elevated Planet is trying to or is about and really is portraying. So, you know, I would ask anybody that is able to get into Netflix, have a look at it if you haven't seen it. And we're going to go into a little bit more depth in that one next.
I think it's on Hulu.
Was it Hulu as well? Okay.
Yes.
Netflix
Hulu.
In the UK, Hulu in the US. So we're covering all bases here. Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So the next thing I want to touch upon is the Z's. Let me give you a little bit of background on the Z's, because not many people will be familiar with them, but it's to do with Lee Harris. He has LeeHarrisEnergy.com. He produces monthly updates on YouTube every month, which is energy updates. He's what we call an energy intuitive. So he kind of is able to measure the pulse of what is going to be happening in the world that is likely to impact people over each month. And looking ahead, he does the same thing for the year. And he is very, very good. Now, why is he very good? Because he channels the Z's. The Z's are a group of galactics, 88 of them, in truth. And even then it expands broader, so we understand, because each of those 88 has, you know, a group consciousness within them as well. The stuff that comes through them is very deeply profound. So I'm a member of the portal for Lee Harris Energy. And at the moment, what would Regina Meredith, who is the main person for Gaia TV for much of the stuff that they do, she's the one doing an interview with the Z's through Lee Harris. And so the question came up about EMFs, which is the electromagnetic frequencies that exist all around us. Because obviously that has spiked a lot in recent years, because we're all using various forms of telecommunication, Wi-Fi, this, that, and the other. And we have all these radio waves and electromagnetic energies all shooting around. You can't see it. It's kind of like an invisible pollution. I found the answer that they came back with very, very interesting. So what you'll hear is Regina asking the question, and then it's only an 8-minute piece, but it's just audio anyway.
Now I go on to consuming another type of thing. We're not necessarily even with our own permission, but we live in a world that is saturated with frequencies, EMFs, Wi-Fi, 5G, etc., so that our devices can communicate more rapidly. What, from your view, is this doing to our brain and our mind, our greater mind and our mind's evolution, and the body, of course?
Well, we will put it in, shall we say, non-scientific terms, because that is the easiest way for us to access. The negative side of all of these EMFs and your technologies that is supporting this communication web that you are now in is it is shrinking your brains. There is too much heat involved. So it is electromagnetically shrinking your brains, but also some of your important organs, some of your cells. So the negative side of this technology is thus, and you are in a period of history where this will come to light. There are already many advocates sharing warning about this frequency. Now, and frequency is very important here because there are different ways that this facility of the internet, for example, or other devices or technologies you are using that are reliant on this current system could be done. It could be far lighter, far less harmful to humans, but yet again, you are seeing an area where those in charge who have made all these decisions on behalf of humanity are either not paying attention or are paying attention and are ignoring the signs of the damage that will be caused because it is furthering their agenda or their desire. And a little human collateral damage doesn't bother them, or it suits them. So we go back to this time of revolution because we can say something like that, and to someone who has never considered that or has never heard that before, this is alarming, and you immediately start to feel you are in danger, you are a victim. And that's the period of history that you are in, where we are telling you, why do you feel it is okay for they to be in charge? And we are not in any way trying to encourage everyone take to the streets and overthrow things immediately, because that would not be good either. What you are actually going to see happen is a steady process over the coming 1 to 2 decades especially, but especially this decade you are entering now that will take you through 2030, 2035. You are going to see an increasing amount of voices and great minds and hearts that will make sense about the health on the planet for all. And they will become more and more undeniable as their numbers grow, as their information grows. Yes, you have recently seen censorship around human health, and you will still see a continuation of that censorship attempt, but you will see a rise in number of people who oppose it and who go against it. So that is why we say it is a tumultuous time. But these technologies that you describe in your questioning, they do not need to be so powerful, so harmful, and they certainly do not need to be producing the shrinking effect that they can have in the long term on biological health of humans. So that is why we say this is going to change, and it is going to have to change, because if it doesn't change, and certainly if they increase the power of these devices, you will start to see more human life and natural life under threat. There are already many experiments and results out there that are showing you what this is doing. But again, too many people in the mainstream are shielded from that information, or are so distracted by trying to survive in a system that is making it hard for them to survive, they don't have the time, bandwidth, or room to see it. But one good thing about your time is more and more people are becoming activated, and more of the youth of today are coming in wired for revolution. And again, we have to be careful when we use the word revolution, because many of you go to a fixed idea of what revolution looks like. And we want you to update that. We want you to recognize a revolution happens within consciousness, not necessarily within physicality, even though physicality can be part of it. So there is a revolution in consciousness that will not allow these harmful technologies to remain. And in some cases, they will be tampered with in a way that they will be improved. And in other cases, they will be eradicated. And other forms of technology will come in that can do the same thing in a less harmful way.
Yes, and for now, until those times are further developed, what can we do? Are there natural means or even technological means to protect our own brains and bodies from these frequencies?
Well, water is key for what happens is your water gets drained quickly. So water and electrolytes are very important for those of you who are living in, we will say, high areas of these frequencies. And for example, water on your body, not just in your body, is also a great neutralizer. But the other side of it, we would say, is pay attention to your functioning. Start to become intuitive with your body. There are some on the planet who are already the early warning signal to others. There are some who are deeply sensitive to these frequencies, and many of you are becoming more sensitive. There is a reason people are wanting to leave cities. It is not just because they are busy, even though that's what people might believe. They might say, I wanted to get to the country because the city seemed so busy. Well, the city has also become very electrified. So not all people are surviving well in cities now, doing so well. And there are all kinds of health issues that are arising for you as humans that are yet to be diagnosed as related to the electromagnetic frequencies that you are being exposed to. So it is case by case basis as to what kinds of minerals you will need. But think of it this way. Your minerals and your vitamins get very depleted very quickly when you are in these frequencies. So you will need high doses of minerals, vitamins, electrolytes, water, and you will need a certain level of, we will say, neutralization from these forms. While there are certain physical things you can do, there is certain shielding that can be put into walls. There are also certain energy technologies out there that can help mitigate the effect of these waves that are moving through your bodies. At the end of the day, what is most important is listening to what your own body needs, paying attention to when and why you get depleted and where, and also, and that is why we say it is imminent that things are set to change, you will see a more radical conversation taking place around this immediately. Even as these recordings or this book is being put out into the world, there will be an increasingly radical amount of conversation and questioning taking place around these technologies that will come to the forefront quite quickly. And there will also be ways that people can be repaired technologically. So the impact that they are experiencing that is negative right now, in years to come, there will be ways using infrared and using a different laser technology to help people repair any cellular damage.
Okay. Deep gratitude to Lee Harris and to Regina Meredith for that, because that was something that's not normally available for non-portal members. So you got a 10-minute snippet there of what this is about. And of course, there will be people out there who don't believe in channeling galactic energy, right? But all I would say is listen to what is being said, because whether you believe it's coming from galactics or whether you believe it's coming from a human being, then the underlying message is one of interest, and we will soon know. Because if conversations, serious conversations, are going to start around this EMF pollution, and start to raise attention of what this is really about, then it's important that we have an understanding about what is going on around us. What do you think, Jole?
Absolutely. 100%. But let's get into some of the technical aspects of channeling and what it is, so that others really can understand, because all that, I know that I'm OCD. So to hear something like that, I'm automatically like, okay, like what's going on? It's weird,
Yeah.
So let's just talk about that for a minute. So what is channeling? What Lee Harris is doing is he's calling in or connecting with an entity that is then working through his body. Many of you may be familiar with that as Abraham, right? And
Right.
Esther Hicks and all of their wonderful work. So we know that channeling is pretty effective, but they know how to open themselves up and allow for this entity or energy to work through them to, uplift mankind. That's a good channel. There's also ways for you to work with energies such as these, that you keep it outside of your aura and you allow for this energy to speak to your higher self. So that's an option. And that's something that we intuitives do. We want to give you some behind the scenes, in order to not, you can channel. I can very well channel and open up and do that. And so can John, and so can you. You just need to learn how. It's very easy. It's a frequency, right? And a vibration. So all that Lee Harris is doing is tuning into a certain frequency. So don't look at it as if this is some woo-woo weird stuff. We just heard from him. It's all about energies, frequencies, vibrations. We know this to be true because of the work of Tesla. So when you're talking about channeling, you are talking about science and just being able to align with the specific frequency of this energy. Mm-hmm. But for those of you that may be interested, but scared, you have an aura layer, which protects you, which is your personal space. You have a higher self. So once you know about your soul architecture, you can align with frequencies, but instead of allowing them to drive the bus, the higher self, they communicate with and give you the message. All right. So that's my thing. And I just think Lee Harris is incredible. And what he has to say, please, bend your ear to it.
Yeah. And it's interesting, actually, because one of the stories, a funny story that Lee Harris actually tells, is that when he was in his early 20s, and he was, he's always been into that spiritual stuff. He always used to go to workshops, this, that, and the other. But it wasn't until, I think, 2004 that the Z's, as they are known, connected with him. It was always the intention, that was always his life path, that he was going to channel them, but he didn't know who they were, because obviously he had the veil of forgetfulness had dropped down and he had no idea. But prior to that, he said about 3 years, earlier than that, maybe early 2000s, he was saying that he went to, a friend of his took him to see a channeler. And he said, he came away with his friend afterwards. He said, what he had to say was really deep and profound. But why did he have to put on that stupid voice to actually tell us what he was thinking? And now it's him with a stupid voice. Channeling the entities, because that was his, that even though he was kind of already on that journey, he didn't get it. He just thought it was somebody just making it up as they went along.
See, and that's the thing, people think that, when you're in this spirit realm, that you're lock, stock, and barrel. But a lot of us have a very skeptical mind. We get into the details and the real. And so when you hear, we live in this society where things have to look a certain way to be palatable. But it takes all types and all kinds, and there are all types and all kinds. And just because this Lee Harris is doesn't mean that God is not speaking through him or them. You know what I mean? Just because that person is homeless, that doesn't mean they don't have pearls of wisdom for you. So it's we really want to open all of ourselves up to understanding that the Creator appears to us, or divine energy appears to us in a myriad of ways. And once we begin to let go of some of these hangups and issues and judgments, it's mostly judgment and criticism, and just really start to get at the foundation of loving, what does that mean? That really just means connecting. Even if it's in the moment, trying to forge a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think there's a few very interesting points around that as well, about the control agenda. And, the fact that there's this control issue that goes on, and people making decisions on behalf of humanity rather than us individually taking our own power back. And I think that when we show you this next video, which is based on the work of Dolores Cannon, somebody who used the quantum healing hypnotic technique to get information from people and from other entities as well, ultimately. But I mean, to me, I think Dolores was an amazing person, certainly transformed my life in the stuff that I've read of hers. So I think that, bear in mind what you've heard from the Z's, the care of Lee Harris, as you watch this next video. And we're going to pause it every few minutes just to kind of discuss this, because there's a lot to break down here. There's a lot to break down with this video, and let's just reel it on. So just bear with me a second.
Life as we know it is undergoing a profound and unparalleled transformation, a cosmic event of unprecedented significance. You might not fully grasp the magnitude of this moment, but it's time to awaken to the truth. As Dolores Cannon, a renowned pioneer in metaphysical research, has emphasized, we are living in the most crucial period in the history of the universe. So the question that arises is, do you realize what's coming? Have you ever paused to consider why you are here at this precise moment in time and space? It's not a random occurrence. It's a conscious choice made by your soul. According to Dolores Cannon, there's a profound and divine purpose behind your existence in this era. Thousands of souls, like shining stars in the night sky, have eagerly chosen to incarnate during this epoch. They've done so with the understanding that even if their earthly journey is brief, it's a journey of immeasurable importance. Why? Because they yearn to be a part of this extraordinary juncture in the grand cosmic tapestry. Imagine being able to say, I was there when this occurred, regardless of the brevity of your stay. This is how pivotal this moment is in the grand scheme of the universe. It's a moment where souls converge to bear witness to a transformation of such magnitude that it defies earthly comprehension. Now, pause for a moment and contemplate your existence in this light. You are living in a time that will never repeat itself, where the old paradigms are being dismantled and the new is emerging. It's akin to witnessing the birth of a new universe, the unfurling of a cosmic masterpiece. Are you ready to embrace this unparalleled opportunity? Close your eyes and imagine a world where negativity, fear, and separation are mere relics of the past. This is the destination we are collectively heading towards, an Earth that is undergoing a complete and profound turnaround, one that surpasses the limits of our belief. Dolores Cannon beckons us to envision a new Earth, a concept that finds resonance in the book of Revelations in the Bible. As St. John had his visionary experience on the Isle of Paphos, he may not have realized that it would take millennia for the fulfillment of his vision. However, here we stand at the precipice of that very transformation. The new Earth is not a distant utopian dream. It's the reality we are co-creating through our collective intentions, actions, and awakening. This new Earth, as vividly described in the teachings of Dolores Cannon, is a place of unparalleled beauty and boundless love. It's a realm where colors are more vibrant, emotions are more profound, and every experience is infused with love's radiant glow. In this world, love transcends all barriers, and unity is the bedrock of existence. Can you picture such a world? It's not a mere fantasy. It's the future we are actively shaping with our thoughts and deeds. The shift we are undergoing is not just a superficial change, it's a dramatic and radical shift in the very vibrational essence of our planet. The Earth herself is evolving, and we, as conscious beings residing upon her, are an integral part of this evolution. Dolores Cannon teaches us that this shift is, at its core, a process of purification. Divine light, emanating from the source, is flooding our planet, illuminating every corner of existence. This light brings to the surface everything that is not in alignment with its purity. It brings forth the lower vibrational aspects of our collective and individual consciousness. You might wonder why this process is necessary. The answer lies in recognition. To ascend, we must first recognize the darkness within ourselves and our society. The light is illuminating the hidden recesses of our subconscious, bringing to our awareness the lower vibrational thought patterns, emotions, and beliefs that have been driving our behavior for eons. This unveiling is happening both on a collective and individual level. Think about the past years. They seemed filled with turmoil, conflicts, natural catastrophes, and the emergence of new diseases. This craziness is not a coincidence. It is a deliberate act of bringing the darkness to the surface. It's a collective purging, a shedding of old paradigms, a release of stagnant energies from our consciousness, both as a global community and as individuals. And here's a key insight. This process is ongoing, and it's not going away anytime soon. The old Earth, burdened by the weight of its own density, is undergoing an implosion of sorts. The question that arises is whether you will allow yourself to be dragged down with it or choose to remain a conscious observer, releasing the old beliefs and fears that no longer serve you.
Right. Just going to pause it for a moment there. One of the things I find very interesting about that is that there's a lot of people on the planet right now, regardless of how brief their earthly journey is, right? So what they're saying is that there are going to be a lot of people who will be exiting the planet, which we know as death, but that is a part, as I understand it, of the new earth. I do believe that as we go from the old Piscean age, which is the old age of lies and deceit and cover up and all this kind of thing, and you move in towards the age of Aquarius, which is heart-based consciousness and all the rest of it, then you go through the big shakeup, which is what they talk about here. And even those who go through difficult times in life, they have chosen to be here. Even if they end up, dying in a war or something like that, that was part of their plan, was to do that. Now, this is a really difficult thing to get your head around because, like when we think about, death and destruction and all this, who would choose to put themselves into a life where they knew they were going to get killed in an act of war or something like that? It doesn't have to be war. It can be anything where it cuts your life short. Who would choose that? But according to this, and this is, I know this because I've read Dolores's work for the last few years, often this is the case. And it just doesn't fit with our mainstream reality, but I think it is part of the truth of a brighter, bigger, incredible reality.
I absolutely agree. And the darkness, we're really learning. Sometimes when you are a person who feels like you're reaching for that high vibration, at times you are hard on yourself because you feel like, well, I should have mastery over these things. But at the end of the day, if we can find some light in the struggle or bring light to the struggle that we have and know that at the end of the day, it's going to be okay, that really, really does a lot to propel us forward. But I find that oftentimes we don't know how to do that, right? So one of the ways that we can let go of fear and bring in more of what we want is by allowing for portals to exist in our body, especially one that connects us with Mother Earth. Because I like to say to people, my clients often, that people cannot handle your emotions, those chaotic, maybe toxic emotions of anger, fear, worry, doubt, all those things that make us up. But Mother Earth can. And oftentimes when we focus our minds and we say, okay, this is what I want, I'm not exactly sure how to get there, I feel these feelings, you don't realize that if you sit down and ground your energy into Mother Earth, locate in your body where you feel that negative energy and do a visualization to where you move that energy out and then fill up with what you want. It's like something that now you're turning what now is a platitude, a quote, into a reality. And so that's what John and I are here to do, is really help you take these concepts and turn them into something tangible that you can use on a daily basis. So it doesn't matter if you're in a religion or if you are an atheist. What we're teaching you is science-based, I guess, techniques that have rooting in quantum physics to help with this anxiety, this fear, this worry, this doubt. That is a necessary part, but now it's time for you to shine the light on it and move it on out and forgive yourself so that you can bring in more of what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm thinking here in terms of time, because I don't want to run out of time, I think we're going to play this right the way through to the end. And then after a very brief kind of like quick chat, then I'm going to hand over to you for the guided meditation, because I do want to give that time, because I think that what this video shows us, what this story shows us is how what you do can really help us. So I don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So we'll carry on through, and then we can encapsulate it within a Jole guided meditation visualization at the end. Here we go.
Purification, as Dolores Cannon teaches, is not just a spiritual concept. It's the very essence of our ascension process. It's the process of shedding the old and embracing the new, a journey of self-discovery and transformation that requires courage and introspection. Purification, as a crucial stage of this ascension process, serves a dual purpose: cleaning and awakening. Through purification, those who have the eyes to see can awaken from the matrix of illusion that has ensnared humanity for centuries. It's an opportunity to consciously choose your path, free from the veils of deception. Throughout history, many of our lower vibrational aspects have remained hidden within the recesses of our subconscious minds. These aspects manifest as negative thought patterns, unresolved emotions, and limiting beliefs. They quietly influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions, often without us even realizing it. But now, with the intensification of the influx of divine light, these hidden aspects are coming to the surface of our awareness. It's as though the universe is gently nudging us, asking, "Can you see it now? Do you recognize these patterns of fear, anger, and judgment that have been holding you back?" The purpose of this process is not to condemn or overwhelm us, but to liberate us from the shackles of our past. It's a cosmic invitation to confront our own shadows, to face the aspects of ourselves that we've long ignored. Instead of running from these inner demons, we're encouraged to embrace them with love and compassion. Imagine that you've been carrying a heavy bag of rocks throughout your life, representing your lower vibrational baggage. At first, the burden may have been manageable, but over time, it has become increasingly cumbersome. These rocks symbolize the negativity, fears, and limitations that have weighed you down. Purification is the act of consciously choosing to open that bag, one rock at a time, and examine its weight and significance. Each rock represents a negative thought, a lingering fear, or an unresolved emotion. As you hold each one in your hands, you have the power to decide whether to continue carrying it or to release it into the cosmic river of transformation. This process is a profound awakening. It's an opportunity to unveil your true self, to strip away the layers of illusion that have veiled your perception for so long. The power to transform, to rise above, and to become the best version of yourself lies within you. For centuries, those in positions of authority have skillfully crafted narratives about our world, narratives that shape our beliefs, perceptions, and even our destinies. These narratives have woven an intricate web of control, leading us to believe that our lives are determined by external forces beyond our influence. They have manipulated our perceptions, perpetuating an illusion of control. But here's the truth. The ascension process cannot be stopped by those in power. They cannot halt the influx of divine light. You hold the ultimate power, the power of free will. You have the ability to decide your own course. The ascension process is an awakening to the profound truth that we are not powerless pawns in a grand cosmic game. Instead, we are sovereign beings endowed with the innate ability to shape our own destinies. The old structures of control and manipulation are crumbling under the weight of their own falsehoods. They are losing their grip on our collective consciousness as the light of awareness continues to shine brighter. The old earth, burdened by the density of its illusions, is undergoing a profound unraveling, revealing the truth beneath the surface. This moment in our history is not just a random occurrence. It's a pivotal crossroads in our evolution. The question that each of us must now confront is, will we continue to surrender our power to external authorities and narratives that no longer serve our highest good, or will we rise to the occasion, reclaim our sovereignty, and become active participants in the co-creation of the new earth? The power to choose lies within each one of us. It's a choice to awaken from the slumber of blind obedience and step into the realm of conscious co-creation. The old paradigms may have dictated our past, but they need not determine our future. As we embrace our inherent power and take responsibility for our choices, we become the architects of our own destinies. Amidst this unprecedented transformation, it's essential to understand that the influx of light is not a destructive force. It is a guiding light of illumination. It serves as a beacon of hope, leading us towards higher states of consciousness and self-realization. Picture yourself as a dormant seed buried in the fertile soil of the universe. The light that floods your environment is not merely sunlight. It is the nourishment that awakens you from your slumber. It's a call to rise from the darkness of ignorance and into the brilliance of self-awareness. Each aspect of yourself that comes into the light, no matter how dark or unsettling it may seem, is an opportunity for growth and healing. It's an invitation to engage with love and compassion, both for yourself and for the world around you. As you navigate this journey, remember to consciously recognize these emerging aspects of yourself. Greet them with gratitude, for they have played a part in your evolution. They have taught you valuable lessons about the depths of your own being. Embrace them with love, acknowledging that they are not to be judged or condemned, but integrated and transformed. Bless these aspects as you release them into the vastness of the universe. Understand that in letting go, you are making space for the light to flow more freely within you. This process is not about erasing your past, but transcending it, evolving into a higher version of yourself. As we progress on this journey of self-discovery and transformation, we reach a point where the boundaries that separate us begin to dissolve. It's a return to a state of ownness consciousness, a realization that we are not isolated beings, but interconnected cells in the heart of a greater divine whole. Can you fathom the profundity of this realization? It's a shift from perceiving ourselves as separate entities to understanding that we are integral parts of a magnificent cosmic being that spans dimensions and universes. It's a reunion with the source of all creation, a homecoming to our true nature. The Earth herself is undergoing a profound transformation, a karmic cycle that is culminating in a new type of planetary consciousness. Just as you reside in your house, imagine the Earth as your cosmic home. Now, envision this home being rebuilt from the inside out. The Earth's transformation impacts every facet of existence, including our daily lives. How you experience this transformation depends on your state of mind. If you welcome the changes, if you have been planning and looking forward to rebuilding your cosmic home, you are in sync with the unfolding shifts. You can gracefully navigate the chaos, knowing that it serves a higher purpose. On the other hand, if you resist the changes, if you vehemently oppose the rebuilding of your cosmic home, you may find yourself feeling frustrated and disoriented amidst the upheaval. The inner changes within the Earth will reverberate through your life, throwing you off balance. For those who welcome the inner changes of the Earth and align themselves with the wave of light flooding the universe, these are times of profound empowerment. You are riding the crest of a cosmic wave that carries the potential for unprecedented growth and expansion. Take a moment to focus your energy on the heart of the Earth. Can you feel it? Can you sense the Earth's longing for transformation, her desire to shed the energies of struggle, competition, and drama? She's on the cusp of creating a new foundation for her being, one that is rooted in the energy of the heart, balance, and interconnectedness. It's crucial to acknowledge that we currently inhabit an era of unparalleled significance. The wisdom imparted by Dolores Cannon illuminates the path forward, leading us towards the new Earth, a realm characterized by love, unity, and heightened consciousness. In light of the events of the past year, it's understandable if you've been left with the impression that our world is descending into chaos. Conflicts, pandemics, and natural disasters appear to be becoming a permanent part of our reality, all contributing to a process of purification. The journey of ascension is not without its challenges, as it brings our past shadows to the surface. However, within these challenges, we find the potential for profound transformation and personal growth. The choice is ultimately yours. Will you resist the wave of change, or will you embrace it with open arms? Always remember that you possess the gift of free will and the power of focused attention. Where you direct your attention, energy flows, nurturing your thoughts and visions. Therefore, it's important to release that which no longer serves you and embrace the inner light. We are currently in a transitional phase, and it's essential to trust that everything is unfolding for your highest good. Hold a beautiful vision of a new earth, filled with love and peace in your heart.
So that's that. Now, again, I do think there's a lot of really valuable information there. And again, it goes back to this new earth type of scenario that we've talked about for the longest time. And, you know, once again, I've got a lot of blogs and stuff on that, and I'm still building that out, but we need to get back to that at some point. What do you think, Jole?
I think it's a very good video, especially if you're beginning or anywhere in your journey, because the fear is at an all-time high. You know, the limitations that we experience, what we're seeing, the negativity, the trauma, and a lot of it is spiking that fear. So I think today, one of the things I'd like to focus on in the meditation is that purification process of letting go of the rocks, breaking them down, sending them away into Mother Earth to recycle, and then filling up more with that pure life force energy. Now, let's always remember, I know at times I talk about how to ground, note, send it out, fill up with gold light, but that is because we are running energy in that exercise. And I'm just teaching you in an emergency situation, but always know nature abhors a vacuum, and it's necessary for you to fill up with the good stuff first before you send out the rest, so that good stuff can fill up those spaces and places where that energy leaves, because we're holding fear in the body. So let's take a deep breath in, however it works for you. If it's in through the nose and out through the mouth, that's good. If it's mouth breathing, that's good. Bring your awareness into your chest. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, I want you to please visualize, create, or imagine a portal, a cord, or a grounding element of a natural fiber from Mother Earth, whether it be fire, water, rope, a beam of light. Make sure it emanates from the heart, 6 inches in diameter, and it makes its way down into the core of Mother Earth. And you grow roots, and you root yourself in her core and her divine life force energy. As you take a deep breath in, I'd like you to open your crown like you would the lens of a camera and command 85% cosmic gold life force energy to cascade into your crown. You have access to it. Visualize that, create, imagine that beautiful golden living water cascading into your crown, filling up your brain, your pituitary, your pineal, your cerebrum, your prefrontal cortex, your eyelashes, your eyebrows, your adenoids, everything. And then it moves down into the neck. And you let it do its thing. You let this energy, this golden life force energy, move through your body as you identify the fear. I want you to take the time to turn fear bright red in your body, or watch where the gold light does not go. While you're visualizing, as a medical intuitive, this is how I can tell where disease and illness sits, is because I bring gold light into the body, and the places and spaces where it fails to go or it's very slow is where that person is holding the disease. So in you, turn this energy, this fear, this negativity, this drama, this competition, a bright red color. I have some in my nose, in my eye, my shoulder, my chest, my hips, my low back, my knees, my feet. And what I do is I just bring all of that redness together in a ball right above my heart. It just is all magnetized and attracted to each other, sits right above that grounding cord in my heart. As I take a deep breath in, as I exhale, I see that essence move down my grounding cord, all the way down, all the way down. All of this red stuff is just flushing out of my system. As it moves into the core of Mother Earth, it sizzles and turns into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. And now those spaces and places where that red once was, that gold now fills it up. As you take another deep breath in and exhale and allow for that golden energy to fill up and purify all those places where those limitations, that negativity, that trauma was at. And now you have this new perspective, this new attitude, this new way of doing things. Take a deep breath in. I want you to stay grounded and rooted into Mother Earth as you close your crown like you would the lens of a camera. And you allow for that beautiful golden life force energy to return back up into the heavens. And as you take a deep breath in, you exhale, you can open your eyes. And that, my friends, was just a very brief meditation. And although we didn't break up those rocks, you can imagine that red energy that I told you to turn bright red, being that rock energy that you can then break up with that gold light and send down the grounding cord. Whatever visualization works for you, it is all positive life force energy there to help you heal.
Brilliant. Yeah. And you managed to keep that one very succinct as well, which was quite useful given the amount of time we'd worked on the videos and stuff.
Yes.
You know, and I do think that this is kind of the journey is, you know, when all this chaos goes on in the world, which it will, and it'll continue to, and it may well escalate or whatever. But one of the things they mentioned in the video is the ability to take a step back as a conscious observer rather than getting dragged into the mire, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what it's doing. This is what is empowering us to do. Because again, that was what the video was about. It was about empowering us. How do we take our power back? If we've been controlled for eons and, you know, the mainstream version of reality now is all about the reaching out to others for control and for other people to decide our destiny. Whereas in reality, we have all the power within. And this is the era where we win it back. And once you realize, again, we come back to this thing, we are immortal spirits having a human experience. We don't know when that end date is that we've signed up to, right? Now, I'd like to think I'm around for a few more decades yet, because I think I've got some stuff to do and a lot of really amazing experiences ahead. Because this is the truth of it. I know we're going through chaotic times at the moment, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because I know this has to happen to get us to where we're going. I know at the end of this is an amazing experience because, again, I think this was mentioned in the video as well about heightened senses. And the fact that we will be, you know, living in amongst high frequency energies where things like hatred, anger, war, all that can no longer exist. It cannot exist on what will be a fifth dimensional level, right? So we're already on that journey. And that's what's bringing all the negative stuff into the light. And this is what we do on a personal basis. Care of, you know, what you're talking about here, Jole, is just empowering people to bring the negative side aspects, the shadow aspects out, and not to be afraid of them, because this is the thing about you bless them, right? You say thank you, because the reason this has existed has got me to who I am today. However, I don't need that now. Therefore, I release it into the light, and then you become that higher version of yourself. So it's not to shy away from the shadow aspects, because that's the reason we're here. We're here to experience this full gamut of emotions, from the most negative to the most positive. And the fact is that now we are stepping up. We're getting away from the negative, particularly the programming and conditioning that is now being shown to be what it is. And I know many people won't yet be accepting that in the mainstream, but as time goes by, it will become more and more apparent.
Beautiful. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share this with you, John, and the audience, because it's like we're helping other people or being of service, but at the same time, it's helping me grow and learn and, evolve. So I'm very grateful for this experience. And I thank you for joining us.
Yes, likewise. And same from me as well. And yeah, I appreciate what you do for us, Jole, because, I know you're a big part of this journey for me as well. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing and all that kind of thing if it wasn't for your influence on my life either. So there's no accidents out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and we would really like for you guys to join us on this journey with our Nos Populi, so check into that as well.
And I think we're going to start doing some CE5s before too long. We'll come back to that
yes.
as well, because the meditations there from Jole reaching out to something, this is going to be special. But
yeah, fasten your seatbelt.
Fasten your seatbelts is right. But we'll reach out to you individually just to ask, if you want to be part of that, because I think it's a beautiful thing that to be part of. If you're curious or, you really feel a desire to be part of it, then you should try it out. So we'll be bringing more of that back to you. But thank you again, Jole. Thank you to our Elevated Planet community for joining us today, whether it's on the live or whether it's on the recording. But you know where to reach us, elevatedplanet.live contact page, or email me at johndrew@elevatedplanet.live with any questions, thoughts, observations. Life is good. Life is a celebration, so let's celebrate it. Have a fantastic week. The weekly goes out tomorrow, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.